House Speaker Nancy Pelosi keeping her House mask mandate despite new CDC guidelines.
The move prompting 34 Republicans to write a letter asking her, quote, to immediately return to normal voting procedures and end mandatory mask requirements in the House of Representatives. Congresswoman Nancy Mace was among those who signed the letter, and she joins us live now. It's good to see you this morning. Thanks for being here.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. And you know, if you remove that mask, it's a $500 fine from members of Congress.
But are you surprised that this is still in place?
I really am, particularly now that finally the CDC is somewhat following the science. We know that if you're fully vaccinated, indoor or outdoor, 3 to 6 feet apart, you are safe. And this is a time to lead our country through this crisis. And instead, she's doubling down on this. And we saw during Biden's address to the United States at joint session, everybody was vaccinated. They only had a few people in the room, and they were all double masked. It's not the right message to send to Americans. We need to be encouraging vaccinations and show what that post-vax life looks like.
Let's pop up on the screen part of the letter. It's long. I'm not going to read it in full, but it basically goes over the main points that you just made. It seems, though, she has to cave on this. No? I mean, how ridiculous does she look if she doesn't cave?
Well, she looks ridiculous more and more every day, and the masks mandates is just an example of that. Now I am hearing, taking over the infrastructure committee and the latest infrastructure package. It's only going to get worse from here. But this is a time to show leadership in our country, and we're not getting it from Nancy Pelosi. We need to show that our kids can be safe in schools, that parents can have a say in whether their kids wear masks. And this is a place in Congress. The halls of Congress is the first place in this country where we likely have herd immunity, because the vast majority of us are vaccinated or have had COVID-19, that it's safe, whether we're outdoor or indoor, spread out, washing your hands. We need to show the rest of the country how to get it right.
And there's some like yourself who have had COVID-19 and are vaccinated. So, I mean, there are a lot of people in that scenario as well. Let's talk about the Colonial Pipeline hack right now and the gas shortage. And I'm curious, in your estimation, the biggest thing you think this exposed?
Well, it exposes that energy security is national security. It also exposes that we should be paying more attention, be more mindful, and investing more in protections rather than, say, creating a civilian climate corps or making our kids' school lunches greener in this infrastructure package. Perhaps, just perhaps, we should invest in cybersecurity so that we can prevent cyber attacks from happening in the future. That should be a priority for this administration.
Here's what Pete Buttigieg, Transportation Secretary, had to say on this. Take a listen.
For many Americans, this has been a wake-up call on how actors anywhere in the world could impact us right here at home. And when you look at our policy framework, our laws, a lot of them were not written for the cyber era.
I mean, Congressman, he's right. That was a very thought-out answer, a very accurate and full answer. But why, then, is he and the rest of the administration labeling so much other junk as infrastructure and distracting from what really needs to be done to carry out what Pete Buttigieg just said in that soundbite? 30 seconds to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I'm hearing about that infrastructure package, it will be larger when we finally get to markup and see it. And it'll be even worse than what we've heard so far. Half of what we're hearing could be spent on Green New Deal type of wasteful spending. That does not make this cybersecurity a priority for infrastructure. And this hack illustrates the enormous need to do a better job for our energy grid, whether that's pipelines or the energy grid.
I mean, it seems that cyber stuff's bipartisan. If you guys can get together on one thing, it should be that. Congresswoman Nancy Mace, we appreciate your time as always. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.